What is going on, boys and girls of YouTube? Today we are going over the patch notes. I'm going over them a little bit differently though. I'm not just gonna watch the base video or base stream, whatever, and go over it just because it's at a different time now. So I'm not live streaming when it happens. And also the fact that it takes a little bit longer, and I don't want to look at skins for 35 minutes. I want to see the art, and then I'm good until I can actually play the skin in the game. So if you guys want to see that stuff, obviously go watch the stream. But I want to go over the patch notes. I want to read this shit. I want to see it. I want to feel it and understand it. And that's what we're going to do. Before we get into it, though, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button on this video. Let me know in the comments if you'd rather me do this kind of video over the paper fucking written out patch notes, or just continue watching the streams and stuff. Because if that's the case, I will just watch it later on in the day during stream time, and it'll just go up a little bit later. But that's how it is. So this is patch 5.14. In this patch, we've got this new god coming out. This new Polynesian? I almost said Polynesian. Fucking Polynesian god coming out. So it's to be an assassin. It is PELE, goddess of volcanoes. I know none of this stuff. I haven't looked at these patch notes yet, so I don't know what the fuck happened today. I've heard it was supposed to be a pretty big deal, like a decent amount of changes, some stuff that could be relevant to a lot of the game. And starting off with a new god, obviously that's how it's going to be. So her passive, when PELE drops below 50% health, her flame is set alight. She gains increased physical power, She gains increased physical power, lifesteal, and ability lifesteal. This passive has a 20-second cooldown, so it can proc once every 20 seconds. Have to be below 50% health. You're getting lifesteal, ability lifesteal, and more power. So it's 5 power plus 2 per level. So it's going to be, what is that, 40 fucking 5 power at max level. You have 40% lifesteal. That's a lot of lifesteal. Ability lifesteal is at 20%. Depends on how the abilities are doing damage, whether that's relevant. And then it has a 6-second duration. So if you have no lifesteal in your kit and you fall below 50%, you get 6 seconds of 40% lifesteal. That'll be insane for boxing early. Like, not early, but mid-game. That could be really nuts in casuals and ranked. First ability, Pyroclast. PELE flourishes and fires out a magma orb ahead of her in a line. Once the fiery projectile reaches maximum distance, it hovers for a brief instant, solidifies, and then returns back in pieces. So it's going to go out as a ball, be solid, break on its way back to you. Dealing damage to enemies on the way back, the number of shards returning is dependent on the rank of this ability. So it doesn't do damage on the way out. It doesn't do anything on the way out. It does damage on the way back. PELE has 2 charges of this ability. Starts at 60 damage, scales up to 220 damage at max rank, 60% scaling. So you can fire 2 of them off, probably doing like 320 at max rank. So you're looking at like 640 damage if you can fire them quickly, and you hit them both. Oh no. Oh, so it does damage going out and coming in. I read that wrong. Or they just wrote that up wrong. Alright, so 2 charges, damage on the way out, 60 up to 220, plus 60% scaling. That makes more sense because you're going to hit something on the way out way fucking easier than you're going to hit it on the way back. And then the return damage is 30 damage flat at all ranks, plus 10% of your physical power. So if you double hit both at max rank, you're probably looking, you probably have like maybe 200 power. So you're looking at 420. You're looking at like 470 damage on if you hit the way out, the way in, and then if you do it again, you're looking at another one. So that could be 900 damage if you can get those abilities off quickly. Interesting idea. We'll see how it plays out when the god is actually on PTS. By the way, if PTS is up tonight, I will be on PTS playing this god. Or if it's up tomorrow, I'll be on PTS playing this god. Anyway, second ability, Eruption. PELE fiercely erupts energy into the ground, exploding in an area around her, causing damage and knock up to all enemies. Okay, that's kind of crazy. At ranks 3 and 5, the area expands again at a delay, dealing less damage and a smaller knockup. 3 exploding circles. Inner damage is 100 up to 260 with 80% scaling. So at max rank, you could be doing like 500 damage with a knockup. The outer damage, which I'm guessing is the outer ring, is going to be just slightly lower, 80 up to 240 with 60% scaling. The knockup is 280, 240, 200. Interesting. And then the radius is 15, 25, 35. That'll be interesting for blink engages, because I don't think the radius is very big. So it'd be very like small range, more single target. But we'll see. PELE starts to churn. Oh, this is the third ability, Magma Rush. PELE starts to churn the land around her, dealing damage to nearby enemies and giving her constant movement speed while this ability is active. Toggle this ability again to enter an amplified state, expending more fuel but dealing more damage and providing additional movement speed. This ability has no cooldown but uses a fuel gauge and cannot be active when below 10 fuel. Okay, I just realized none of these have a mana cost. So she's going to be built around a new system. It's not going to be rage. It's not going to be, it's going to be like an energy. The fuel is going to be like an energy. That's going to be weird. I like it. All right, so the damage is 20, scaling up to 40 every 0.5 seconds. The amplified damage is 40 up to 80 with 20% scaling every 0.5 seconds. Movement speed is 30. When you amplify it, it's 60%. That's kind of fucking nutty, dude. That sounds like pure oh my gosh. So no mobility other than movement speed, which is the one thing that sketches me out. And then our ultimate is Volcanic Lightning. After a short warm-up, PELE dashes forward, dealing massive damage and a slow to the enemy. First enemy got hit, dealing additional damage to enemies behind in a cone. For the next 10 seconds or 3 attacks, every time PELE hits an enemy with a basic attack, additional damage is dealt behind the enemy as well. So initial damage is 200 up to 520 with 60% scaling. It's like a 700 ult, I guess, late game. Extra damage is 100 up to 240 with your auto attacks. So this new god sounds like a heavy fucking damage god with low ass mobility. But it has a knockup in the CC and it has range damage. So you've got a Kali-esque god, but with more ability bursting. That's what it sounds like. Like, maybe not exactly Kali, but like the idea of Kali. The melee, but also a little bit of range damage. But this bitch has way more range damage and sounds like if you get in melee range, you go fuck somebody up with a knockup. Interesting. So Kali might have been a bad comparison, but like the idea of Kali, just with the abilities being each one way better. Okay. So that is the new god, PELE. We got some new god skins, apparently. We got Primal Storm Susano. That actually looks pretty dope. The card art, at least. We've got Molten Hebo, which we already know is going to be awesome. Mystic Guardian Athena. Another fucking anime-looking skin for another god. And then they put in gold skins for PELE. Which, dude, her card art looks sick. Okay, she could be pretty fucking dope. Let's get over to the miscellaneous bullshit, because we don't care. We don't care. They increased ban phase and rank joust. They fucked some jungle practice stuff up again. Changed the arena to minimum respawn time from 20 seconds to 10 seconds. Interesting. Private chest, no one cares. Prompt report, no one cares. Bug fixes, we don't care. Alright, items. You got E-Staff. Fix an issue where a god could have more than 3. Alright, no one cares about it. It's a fucking small change. It's not a real change. So Apuja's alt was hitting structures. So they fixed that. RDO, T-Pose fix, Pakisura, little fix, Chernobog, another little fix, Freya, little fix. Alright, Mercury. Fix an issue, movement speed from Bumba's mask does not provide. Alright, well, Bumba's mask is fucked on Mercury, but it doesn't matter because Bumba's mask is not good. So please don't build it. Change on Scylla's a fix. Alright. The Morgan's ultimate now copies the target god's item stack number and evolved items. That's a big deal because if people had Heartseeker, you wouldn't have Heartseeker procced. If people had really anything that's stacked, it wasn't going to be stacked and it wasn't going to be anywhere near as useful as it was for the actual god. So that's huge. The Morgan will now gain the correct amount of gold when in her ultimate form. Awesome. And they fixed an issue where Morgan could be hit by certain effects more than once. That's dumb. That was like if you got certain alts in your when you use your Morgan ult and someone ulted you and then you came out of it, you could be affected again by the same shit. That took too long to fix. Whatever. Atalanta's bow has seen a lot of adjustments throughout season 5. Its core design goal is to give hunters access to additional movement speed, while the item is something assassins or warriors could use. No. They have access to powerful options in the katana tree. We feel Atalanta's bow is fairly statted and viable in some situations. No. Even if it has not caught on yet. No. It is complete. It was completely shit. It looks like it's pretty dope now. We're shifting some of the movement speed to be available all the time with less of the weight being on the passive. Oh. Wow. Wow. All right. So it has flat 10% movement speed now instead of having to get all your stacks up to get the movement speed, which is kind of a big deal because your stacks were very rarely, you very rarely had enough stacks up, let alone had them up long enough to be relevant. So that's a nice change. We might see Atalanta's bow picked up a lot more now, to be honest. The rest of the stats are good. Like the flat movement speed is sick. Because if you pair that with like a Kali, even though Kali's really not that great, you could run Kali with some movement speed. It should be fast as fuck with that and Katana, and say you went stone cutting or something. That's interesting. All right, Vlad Shield. Added component to this item where basic attack heal 1% of your maximum health and mana on successfully hitting an enemy. So Gladiators Shield. This says when hitting an enemy. This doesn't say hitting an enemy god. So this should be a creeps should proc this. Doesn't look like there's an internal cooldown. So essentially, Gladiator Shield used to heal when you hit abilities on enemy gods. Now it looks like it's going to heal every time you auto attack. So it's death toll. 1% every time you auto attack. So if you're playing Osiris, who has a cleave, you could heal what 1, 2, 3% into like 4, 5%. So you can heal 8% of your life every couple fucking autos, unless they limit it to its proc time or don't make it proc on cleaves. It's literally death toll. Because they don't want it to be an early game item, but you literally can get this for 1,700 gold. It's like a little over double the price of death toll at start. So you don't have initial shit, but you start with this rank 1, and then you back and buy this at like 1 minute into the game. You literally back and TP back in and buy this at like less than a minute into the game as a soul winner. Okay. Okay, Iris. Oh my gosh, please. this is going to be a huge L very quickly. Whether they realize it on PTS or on live, I don't know. But I can guarantee you that this will end up being a massive L very quickly and be reverted or changed or taken out of the game. I don't even know. They're gonna fuck up Gladiator Shield, it looks like. Updated description of fucking fighter's mask, no one cares. Updated, no one cares. Lano's mask. Added a new sacrifice stat to the passive, minus 20% healing done. They don't want healers to be buying this. They don't want Aphrodite, Chunga, Hell to be able to build this and just be healing bots that can't take any damage. So I like the idea. It's still gonna be good on supports. People are running like Nox support, so it's still gonna be good on that shit. It's just so healers can't be fucking dumb. Achilles, God balance. Achilles had a strong release, blah, blah, blah. We are bringing down his offensive power again. Health bonus increased from 35 to plus 10 per level. Increase from 35 to 10 per level to 25 plus 15 per level. So you lose 10 at the early game, but you gain an extra fucking, what is that? 100? Gain an extra health late game? Yeah. Oh, 90. Okay. Protection bonus increase 5 plus 1 a level from 5 plus 1 to 5 plus 1.5. So you're getting 10 protections late game. Interesting. Physical power and protections now scale from 15% to 10 to 20%. So late game, they're trying to make him better late game, worse early game. Makes sense. Combat dodge. Cooldown change from 12 seconds at all ranks to 14 down to 10. Late game. God, that's actually huge for late game. Damage reduced from 55 up to 215 to 50 to 210. So you lose 5 power. Ends up being 10 damage off of double dashes. Not that big a deal. They're trying to make his late game way better, which is fine. Because his early game is overtuned. His early clear is bad. Like 1 to 2, 3, bad clear. After that, though, and during that time, your fight is amazing. As you auto really fucking hard, it's just slow. Increased camera height on Bakasura. Awesome. No one cares. Increased camera height on Scylla. Awesome. Camera height on Mana. Awesome. That's just pulling the camera back so you can see more over the character and around the map rather than being centered really low. Decrease magical power scaling from 60 to 50 on Northern Lights. That's your 1. On Freya, decrease mana cost per shot from 25 to 57 to 20 to 40. So they want you to do less burst and be able to range auto more without having to melee attack. Dope. Scotty, the goddess of winter, and her loyal wolf haven't been making much of a showing lately. Probably because she's either broken or shit. Calder has been the target of many nerfs over his lifetime, and how that has his damage and tankiness seem to be in good spots. Oh, now that's supposed to be now, and now that. Okay, fuck off. Calder, the winter wolf, decreased time taken to generate 1 hit point from 10 to 7 seconds, so he can get his health back quicker. Piercing Cold, decreased cooldown by 1 second, so you can spam a little bit more. Slight changes. Don't think it's gonna be game breaking because there's no damage changes, and the cooldowns aren't crazy changes. All right, Morgan, Dark Omen, increased minion damage bonus from 20 up to 80 to 40 to 160. Holy fuck, that late game insta clear. So they want your 2 to clear better on Morgan. They want her to be relevant because she doesn't get played at all. But this could be a big change. So early game is important on Morgan. If you're able to be hyper aggressive and get a lead off of invading or poking people out, you can go a lot farther with the god into the game. This is going to allow that because your mid lane clear is going to be sick, especially with some of the starts you can do. Vulcan backfire now goes through walls. Finally, that's pretty cool actually. And cannon deals damage as if the target had 25% less magical protection. Wow. So they buffed your 2 to basically negate 25% magical protections. That actually is going to do a little bit of damage. That's pretty dope. And those are the patch notes. All right. So looking at these patch notes, Achilles changes are relevant because you're not going to snowball as hard, but your late game is going to be way better. Late game was pretty shit unless you did snowball before, so that's pretty smart. Gladiators Shield change, going to be game breaking for the soul laners. Fucking game breaking, dude. Absolutely fucking game breaking. This might even be game breaking on like some junglers who go tanky. Honestly, being able to lifesteal, it could be. Let's push it a little bit. Atalanta's bow, I think we'll see this be built into some junglers and some hunters. Not all the time, more situational. And then we've got our new item, or our new god. We've got PELE. 3 changes that are relevant, that are going to affect Smite if they go to live. I can't wait to play this fucking person. I will see you guys on BTS. Let me know about these patch notes, whether you like me reading over them and you can understand them more. Because I know me personally, if I can read it myself and I can touch it or feel it or like use it, so like more in-game stuff, I understand it better. Whereas like the video patch notes where they just read it over really quick and kind of really don't cover it very well, I don't fully understand until I get on a PTS. So this way I have a better understanding. Maybe some of you do. I don't know how you guys learn. Everyone learns differently. But we will be on PTS later. Make sure you're on the stream. Have a good day, night, guys. I'll see you all in the video as well later on. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. I will see you all later tonight.